Hi everyone! Today we are chatting all about book series, especially focusing on the ones that I'm in the middle of in 2026, ones that I plan to finish this year, and I'm showing you for the first time the series tracker that I made. I'm gonna actually go ahead and cut us over to a different view right away here so we can jump straight in to the overview of the series tracker and you can see what I'm working with here because it's a lot. Okay, hi everyone. I am currently in the process of editing this video, and the audio for kind of the whole thing, but especially this part where I'm sharing my screen, it's rough. And I just want you all to know I committed and I bought a very nice professional microphone for future videos. So bear with me on this one, and I promise it will improve in the future. Okay, back at it. Okay, welcome to my book series tracker. First things first here, I'm on the All tab, which is all the series that I've read in, I don't know, say like the last 5 years or so. I've definitely got some things listed in here too from childhood that I read, like Harry Potter, for example, that I haven't reread recently, but I still just threw it in here if I remembered them off the top of my head. But for the most part, these are pretty recent series. And then most of my columns here you can see are fairly straightforward. So like series title, author, pretty self-explanatory. Publication status tells me whether the full series is published or not, if it's still in the works from the author. Ability to continue then is if there are things that are published that I haven't read yet, then I put not caught up to publication. If I'm caught up to everything published, or if I've finished the whole series, then this will show up green, caught up to publication. If I am not caught up and there is something to read next, or even if there's just a title announced for the next book in a series that's not published yet, I put that under next book to read. Sometimes I find that series titles confuse me a bit if I think about the series more so in terms of what the individual books are called. So this is just kind of more for my own brain. Reading status, I have 4 different options here. First, there's a finished option, which is all the series that are fully published and I've read them all. I'm done with them. I have DNF, which is series that I have decided I'm not continuing for any given reason. Unsure if continuing is ones that I'm like kind of on the fence about DNFing, basically. I just can't imagine myself going ahead and picking up a book from that series over starting something new or over one of the other series on this list. So it's still here and it hasn't quite been DNF'd yet, but it's kind of in limbo. And then in progress, which I'll show you in a second, kind of how the in progress plays out, because I have 2 separate views here you'll see up at the top for in progress books, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But those are obviously ones that are just not yet finished, but I intend to keep reading them. I also have a checkbox for interconnected standalones just because I like to keep track of that, and I have a notes section as well. So largely pretty self-explanatory, right? And then I'm just going to talk through these tabs for a second since this is an intro to my book series tracker, but I'll let you know that the majority of our time today is going to be spent in this in progress can continue bucket, and we'll get there last. So the finish tab is pretty straightforward. That's everything where everything has been published and I've read it all. It's just finished. So pretty straightforward there. The unsure and DNF tab here are, again, like I said, ones that I have either decided not to continue or I'm kind of on the fence about continuing. I have them sorted in here by reading status so that the unsure ones pop to the top of the list here and the DNFs pop down to the bottom of the list, since I know I really don't need to be looking at those, but I might want to look at the unsure ones occasionally. And then of course it filters by author and series title too, just for easy searching. But you can see here the unsure if continuing ones are closer to the top and the DNF ones then are kind of tracked down here. If you want to see a video specifically of me going through these ones, like why did I DNF what I did, and or why am I on the fence about the ones that I'm unsure of continuing, I could even do almost like a DNF or continue reading kind of thing and sort these unsure ones a little bit further. Let me know. Happy to do that. But I'm going to go ahead for now and move on to the can't continue list here. So these ones are books that are in progress, but I cannot keep reading them yet. And that's because they are not fully published, but I have caught up to everything that is already published. So this is a nice little list that's just sitting here, chilling out, hanging out, waiting for its moment to shine when these authors do publish the next book in these series. And I'm going to just quick jump over now to the can continue category. So this is the one I want to focus on primarily today, and I will chat through kind of which of these series I'm most excited to continue when you get back to the view where you're seeing my face. But in the meantime, I just wanted to show you the full list. So these are ones that are I have not caught up to what's already published, and I intend to, right? So they're not unsure. I know I want to finish all of these, but there are definitely some of these that are rising to the top of my excitement list rather than the others. So I'm pumped about those and ready to get going on those. And I'm going to talk about those in a second, right after I give you sort of my full numbers. So going all the way back to this all tab, there are 89 total series being tracked here in this whole database on Notion. 32 of those are in this finished box here. 31 of them are in the unsure and DNF category. 16 of them are in the in progress cannot continue category. So that leaves me with 11 in this in progress can continue bucket. Of those, I am in particular excited about 5 as my top priorities for this year. And it would be so cool if I could finish all of these 11 within this year without starting something new. But I also know that's not realistic. And this number is going to shift over time because some of these things in the can't continue bucket do have anticipated release dates for the next book. So things will get shuttled back and forth between all these categories as I go. But it would be so fun to kind of wipe this category clear. Probably not going to happen, especially because I do have 5 of these that I really want to talk through with you that are tippy top, most excited on this list. Okay, so since you've stared at my screen for long enough, I'm going to go ahead and switch back over to my camera view as I talk through the 5 that I am most pumped about. I've got my notes here, so I might bounce my attention kind of back and forth between the camera and my computer. I just want to make sure I don't miss any of these 5. And we're going to go ahead and kick it off with one that's fairly obvious if you've been watching along with any of my videos recently, and that's the Percy Jackson and the Olympian series by Rick Riordan. I'm actually partway through the first book already in this series. That's why it's marked as in progress. I'm working my way through, and this one, long story short, is a series I never read when I was young, when I was the quote right age for this series, but I am so excited to be diving into this middle grade series and getting some of that exciting magic back of reading a fantasy series specifically for that age range. There's just something about books for that middle grade age in the fantasy realm in particular that I love so much, and I'm so excited and honored to be able to be reading this as an adult. I am actually kind of happy with myself for never having read it as a kid, because what a gift to be able to do this now in just a totally different headspace than I would have been at that age. So definitely using this one kind of as a palate cleanser between other books. I don't want to rush through it, but I do hope that I can finish the whole thing this year. So we'll tackle it together. I'll keep you updated on this one as I go for sure, because I know a lot of you have been interested in kind of my progress with this and my thoughts on it. Rightfully so, because I know it's a favorite for many of you. Number 2 is the Winter Night trilogy by Catherine Arden. So I read the first book, The Bear and the Nightingale, in December of 2025. I am currently I'm 90% of the way through the second book, and I've already got the third book teed up as an audiobook from my library. So I'm ready to go for this one. these these last two books in the series were part of my February reading list this year. So definitely want to finish it by the end of this month, which means I think this video is going up on the last day of February. So hopefully, cross your fingers, I actually finish this within the time frame I set for myself. So hopefully this one's actually already getting moved on to the finished list. And I'm really excited to finish this one while I'm still in like the wintry vibes outside. Number 3 is the second arc of the Red Rising series by Pierce Brown. So I just talked about this one in my most anticipated books of 2026 video. I'll link that one down below for you if you're curious. I've read the first 3 books that encompass the first arc of the Red Rising series already years ago. And then I've been holding off on this second arc for like a rainy day, basically. I loved the first 3 books in this series so much. Like still to this day, one of my top 5 sci-fi series ever. I love it. I can't imagine ever not loving it, and I'm so excited for the second arc. What's pushing this to the top of my list after a couple of years of kind of holding on to it for a rainy day is that in the second arc, there are 4 total books. 3 of them are published, and the 4th one is being published this year in 2026. So I really want to read that when it releases or very shortly after it releases. So in order to do that, I need to read the first 3 books in arc 2 before that 4th book comes out in arc 2 later this year. I don't think it has a release date yet, so I'm sort of like flying blind in terms of when I need to finish these, but I've got 3, and then when that last one releases, 4 chunky, thick, dense, intense sci-fi books to sink my teeth into this year, and I am pumped. I'm so excited about it. So that one's top of my list as well. Next up, also top of my list, man, I am so excited about this one, is the Hierarchy series by James Islington. Now this one, the series is not fully finished. There are only 2 books out. I read the first book last fall. It was one of my top books of 2025. And then again, in that most anticipated reads of 2026 book, I mentioned the second book in this series, which is The Strength of the Few. The first book, I should have said, is called The Will of the Many. The Strength of the Few, the second book, is out. It's been published since I think November 2025 is when it released. And I've been patiently waiting for my library hold to be available. And guess what, you guys? Guess what? I got notified by my library 2 days ago that my copy is ready. So I can actually finally tackle this one. I am gonna wait a minute to go pick it up, and then I have it for a 3-week loan period, which is what my library does standard, which is great. So I'm gonna hold on to it for a little bit just because I want to get through my February reading list. I want to finish all the books on that list before I jump into this one, because I am not going to be able to put this down, and I'm not going to be able to read anything else while I'm reading it. I'm going to be so engrossed, so deeply committed. So I want to finish up all my other February books that are kind of in the works. I'm reading like 4 or 5 different books right now. I want to finish them before I move on to this, but this one will be caught up as soon as I go to the library and get it. All right, and then last but not least here, 5th on the list of these ones that I really want to finish this year is the Hunger Games series by Suzanne Collins. So like many of you, I'm sure, I read the original 3 books when they came out, but I have not read the 2 prequels, and I really want to get around to them. But the reason I haven't yet is because I'm feeling my own internal pressure to reread the first 3 books, because I know I've forgotten a ton. Like I don't remember basically anything about the series, honestly. I hear people talk about specific characters even, and I don't remember who they are. So I feel like I need to reread the original 3 before I dive into these prequels, but that means it's a huge commitment. It's a huge commitment. It's a way bigger commitment than what it looks like on my reading tracker, on my book series tracker, because on there it looks like it's just 2 short books, 2 short prequels, but it's actually the full 5-book list. So I think what I'm actually coming around to is that I just need to read like a really good spoiler summary online of the first 3 books, or maybe rewatch the movies with my husband or something like that and make it like more of a social activity, a fun activity that we can do together, because I just don't know if I'll ever get around to rereading those first 3 books in a timely manner, because I really am dying to read these prequels because I've heard such good things. So I really want to get those prequels done. I really want to read them, but I just don't know if I have the bandwidth to reread the whole series right now. So I think I'm going to take the shortcut and then maybe revisit the entire series like 5 years from now or something like that. But I really do want to do those 2 prequels this year. So the Hunger Games series is by Suzanne Collins is the last one on this list of my priority this year. The other 6 books in this category, the some like in progress books that I am able to continue right now, I'm going to keep waiting on those. I don't really feel a sense of urgency for any particular reason to catch up to publication or to finish them. I think I'm just going to let them linger for a bit. But really excited to be bringing you all along as I work my way through these 5 priority ones this year. And I'll keep giving updates on my series tracker as I go. So thank you so much for being here today, and I will see you next time.